Democrats normalizing assassination culture. A disturbing new report claims that leftists think violent political rhetoric online, including calls for the murder of public figures like President Trump and Elon Musk, is somehow justified. 55% of leftists say they could partially justify the murder of President Donald Trump, and another 49% has the same sentiment towards Doge leader Elon Musk. The research institute behind the study says it's a warning sign that political violence is no longer fringe, but culturally fashionable in some corners of the internet. Judge, what can we do about this?
You know, the scary part of this is that if you hold a belief and you do not have any threat or incitement or attempt to get other people involved and you make no act in pursuant of your belief, there is nothing that you can do. It's considered free speech. But I think it's like the final stage in radicalism. You know, we saw he was everything from a felon to Hitler to a dictator. And now what you've got are people who have been kind of led to believe that all these stages are proof that he needs to be assassinated. So, you know, psychologically, these people have been kind of groomed, almost like a sexual predator. That people are groomed now to think he deserves to be killed. And yet they fail to condemn this Luigi Mangione on the left because they believe that he's entitled to take matters into his own hand. But the truth is they think that this is what happens when you push people too far, and therefore they deserve to be killed. And then the question is, what has Trump done to push people too far? What? Told people to go back to work? Told illegals who are criminals you don't have a right to be here? Or, you know, basically said to people, you know, you've got to follow the law? It's like, this is a scary radicalization that didn't just happen. It's been cultivated.
And do you think that it is, well, I think that nobody was, as I recall, there weren't a lot of people calling for the assassination of Biden.
No. Well, you can't shoot something that's already dead. Mm-hmm. The left has a long history of idolizing violent radicals, but it's always from like a safe distance, you know. But, you know, BLM is a perfect example. They romanticized that even while cities were burning, you know. Dozens died, and BLM was this vaunted thing, but they always idolize radicalism for some reason. Studies on empathy show that the right feels more empathy for the left than the left feels for the right. Yep. And if you have less empathy, you're more prone to savagery and cruelty. You can go from calling someone the N-word, Nazi, to vandalizing cars, to then, you know, supporting assassination. The media can't report on this because then they have to report on themselves, because after all, on CNN, they let Jamal Bowman call Musk the N-word. They didn't stop him. I said this the other day, I'm going to say it again, but I'm going to try to say it slower for Jesse.
Okay.
Life is a bucket. You either fill it with meaning or it becomes resentment, because resentment comes from meaninglessness. If you don't know why you're there, you get angry. That rage is harnessed into a warped worldview. This is why you, in trans activism, feel so angry, and why it's directed to women and children. The left marches for Hamas. They wish the unvaxxed death and the unmasked death. If you own a Tesla, they're going to scratch a swastika in your car, even if you voted for Kamala, because if they see you as the greater evil, then all of that is justified. But it all comes from a resentment over no meaning in their lives. They need to find meaning. And I'm here to give it to them, Jesse.
You like lost me after Life is a Bucket.
Life is a bucket.
It's like it's broken their brains. How can they get it together?
Yeah.
You do have to find meaning, but the media does have to stop with the propaganda, because this is intense propaganda. Luckily, it's kind of calmed down on Trump, and you can see it. But the way they're talking about Musk, that's almost gotten worse. But you're right. We didn't want to kill Barack Obama. We just didn't think he was legally qualified to be president because of where he was born.
Yeah.
I think right. And then Hillary, we didn't want to kill. We were just so afraid of her. We thought she'd kill us first.
Yeah.
But we do this in other countries. The CIA literally uses the same exact propaganda to stir up cultures in other countries to topple dictatorships we don't like. Now we're doing it in our own country.
What are you
And it's like
talking about?
almost working. What am I talking about? A CIA guy was on the show the other day. He said that's exactly what we did.
Color revolutions.
In Indonesia, it's what we did. Right, in color revolutions. We've done it in the Middle East. We've done it
South
in Latin
America.
America. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it backfires. And it almost worked in the United States.
Do you think that Obama should have helped the Iranians who were trying to rise up against the
Green
government?
Revolution.
Yeah, but we needed a plan after that.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think Barack Obama, if we're going to call him president, had a plan.
If that's his
Gotcha.
real name.
Last word to you, Jessica.
Just shocked Jesse didn't say Hussein to get it in there to really make your point.
You made my point for me.
I hate seeing this. I think the Luigi Mangione example is really important because when you looked at who approved of it, it was Gen Z, young people. And the underlying issue is wealth inequality for a lot of these people and the way that that manifests in our healthcare system. How some people, have no access to the care that they need, and it feels like the rich, especially someone who runs a healthcare company or an insurance company, can have a beautiful life and make this insane pay. And I think it definitely needs to be dealt with.
You mean, I don't understand what you said.
What about Obamacare? I thought that was going to fix stuff.
Is this a joke? What do you mean? What did I say? I think it's terrible, and I
no,
think that it's about.
But you said that the justification for this comes from their feelings of inequality over the health.
It was a study that said that's what they said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you saying it was
but you
something
can
else?
you can hold those beliefs without wanting somebody dead. There's something else there. There's something underneath that causes people to think that way. It's not an issue.
There have been throughout the ages poor people who want to kill rich people, especially when they feel like those rich people are keeping them down. And the people like Luigi.
And there's a lot of rich people who don't, poor people who don't feel that way.
I know.
Yeah.
They
So
just
what's the
want a
difference?
job.
What?
We
What's
would
the
like
difference?
people to
Oh,
be
I'm sorry.
safe
It's our
and be
left-wing
able to live their lives.
ideology.
That's
No,
it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about you're as long as you stay on the surface of this is upsetting this, you're not getting to underneath that, which is there's a missing element to human life that leads to this belief. It's not about rich or poor.
It goes back to meaninglessness.
Yes.
You got to go deeper, Jessica. Let's
Come
go
on,
deeper.
Let me in the
Jessica.
bucket.